I have a question about spiritual teaching, which is to some degree to do with the stock phrases we've developed about spiritual teacher. We, for example, have an image of the heart meeting, or this deep feeling, this emotional pull, perhaps emotional spiritual pull, and these appeals to authenticity and who the spiritual teacher really is. As I've been saying for a long time, the spiritual teacher is not a person. The spiritual teacher is not an individual. The spiritual teacher is a gap or a hole or a conduit, a portal, if you will, between the human and the spiritual realms. So it's interesting that this dialogue or this discussion or this trying to understand something that isn't understandable, trying to define in terms of a human individual something which is not human and individual, along with a certain criticism and a certain analysis of values, of positive and negative attributes. You see, the spiritual teacher is not an individual, but neither is the person that represents the spiritual in your life subject to the judgments of good and bad, of evil and virtue, love and hate, and so on. Which is why the heart pull, or the transcendent meeting or relationship that evolves from that meeting, is unlikely to be understood in any kind of human terms whatsoever. And we're inclined, when we say the heart, to reduce it to a romantic idea of heart love, projective love, dramatic, spectacular, adventurous love and narrative, rather than the meeting in eternity, which is the true appreciation of the alignment with the spiritual teacher. So let's be careful. Let us look at the discussion, let us look at the comments, let us look at the opinions and the viewpoints and hold them very lightly, because one thing perhaps we can say and maybe hold to is this, that according to the level of consciousness of the seeker, so will the spiritual teacher appear. In other words, you get what you deserve, or you get what you are, or you see yourself in the other. In that sense, there is, if it's to be contained within human relationship, just the same as any other kind of non-relationship, which is merely the shifting of aspects of yourself which you are not willing to contend with, accept or own, onto another in a so-called relationship, which is really merely a kind of mutual use. Not only is that disrespectful in human relationships and not worthy of human beings in the present stage of evolution, I suggest, but it is entirely irrelevant in the seeker-teacher, spiritual seeker-teacher relationship. There is no relationship that can be defined in terms of our judgmental mind, our criticism, our expectations or assumptions. It just can't be done. So there's a few considerations for you on this matter of spiritual teaching and the teacher.